I'm setting out the world's biggest house.
And if I'm out by 10 millimeters, this whole house shifts.
And this house is a large one, more than 100 meters long. And I'll show you exactly how I set it out, starting with control, the setup, and pegging it out.
Put a tripod here down, and because it's quite sunny today, what I might do in a second is show you the little umbrella holder that I have. Okay, and the weapon of choice today is the Leica TS16. Let's open that. There we go. Such a beautiful instrument. So the first thing we need to do is make sure we've got a battery. Without a battery, it's not going to work. Secondly, turn it on. See the little red dot there? Can you see it? That's the laser pointing down. So I have to firstly move the whole instrument and the legs over to this nail. Okay, so we've got it on the nail. Next thing we want to do is make sure we firm these legs. This one normally I'd find in the concrete here. Just find a little, maybe a place, something like a little bit of a broken piece of concrete or a divot or something like that. Sometimes I get my hammer out and make a little hole. But we want to make sure all the legs are really firm. Ideally, you want to make sure that this is quite level when you do that. In my instance, it's not, because I was trying to get the legs into the grass here, but that doesn't matter for the time being. Next thing we want to do is turn these foot screws until the red laser is sitting on top of the nail, which it is doing now. As you can see, if you can see the red laser just sitting on the nail. Then we want to move the legs up and down until the pill bubble is central within the little circle here. I'm going to unclamp the lever here and just lower the total station down until we get close to the pill bubble being in the center. Might have to do it over here. Sometimes I like to turn this face around too so I can see both the electronic bubble and the pill bubble. Do the same. In this instance we've got to go up slightly, and we're getting really, really close. If you can see, might not be able to see all that well, but we are getting quite close. Okay, so once we're close, we can now then begin to use the electronic bubble just to fine tune everything to make sure it's nice and level. Once we've got that, we can double check to make sure that the red laser down there is actually on the nail, which it is in my instance, and I'm just going to show you that right now. See, a bit tricky without blocking, but the red laser is on the nail. We're very good. Maybe a slight minor adjustment. We're ready to set the instrument up. Okay, it's quite a sort of partially overcast and sunny day. Thereabouts of heat, and so in order to just give me that extra bit of accuracy, I have a homemade umbrella holder here. You can see it's made out of 2 star pickets welded at the bottom here to create a foot that you can use the sledgehammer to hit in, and got a couple of brackets here, bit of ribbon here as well, and a little butterfly bracket thing. So what I'm going to do is hit that in, probably just here somewhere on the edge of this concrete, and I'll do that now. Wants to be pretty firm so it doesn't fall out. It's not blowing a gale, it's not raining. But why would I be using an umbrella on a day like today? Well, it's basically for shade. We are in autumn in Australia now, and but for any sort of initial works and establishing survey control, and to ensure that the instrument remains in adjustment and on azimuth all day, I highly recommend shading your instrument, which I'm going to do, and just unscrew this little bracket here. Might have to, I've just bought a different umbrella, so it's the reason I've got this tape is just to tie it on a little bit stronger. I might have to buy myself or modify this in such a way that it actually holds the umbrella a little bit tighter here. So I'm just going to put some tape on that now. I've used some of this black and yellow tape. I've got safety tape actually. I've got a huge roll of it sitting in the car not being used, so why not? And a bit of dodgy brother work here. Don't you think it's a bit dodgy? If you like my dodgy brother survey tape here on the pole to hold this umbrella, make sure you give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment. I don't care what you say, as long as you like the idea. Any survey control work, we want to make sure that we measure a height of an instrument. We have a height of 1.570. 1.57, I'll put that in my field book. Everything on this site starts with this point. Okay, so I've got some survey control established. I've got a mark on the corner of the shed. I've got a mark in that tree, and I have another mark in that tree, plus my peg down the end, quite a long way away, and that will be some really good survey control that'll enable me to set up anywhere on this site, and provided I can see, say, a minimum of 3 of those marks, I'll be good to go. Here's a little plan here. I'll just flip over here, it's a little bit clearer to see. As I always do, I like to print out a copy of the architectural plan and put on the point numbers that are drawn up in my computer and loaded into the total station and the controller. 42, 43, 45, 46, 50, etc. They're all related to the building, and we've got grids A to E and grid line 1 for the time being. There'll be more grids added at a later time. And just going through here, we have the grids, and we've got 45 metres, 15.9, 16.95, 27.2, 38.6. It's a whopper of a building. So I better get to work. And thank goodness I've got my car here. I can drive around this paddock and get to the pegs, because whilst I could walk, and yes, that's the most sensible way to get exercise, it's such a big area and I don't have all day to do this, so I want to make it get it done as quickly as I can. And for the pegs today, I'm actually going to be using a survey boundary peg, which I don't really like to do, but they seem to be just a little bit more reliable as a peg, as opposed to these smaller dumpy pegs which look like that. I prefer to use something like this. It's painted, it's slightly longer, and it's going to last a long time. And the great thing about some of these jobs is the builders are quite good. They tend to salvage the pegs. At the end you can always collect them. I'm also going to be using some short stakes to write some information on, and then at the very end of the day, a pile of star pickets over there I'm going to grab, and I'll put them on each of the pegs to make it nice and easy to see. Okay, so I've just staked out the very first peg. Things are happening, and you can see here the accuracy at the moment is 6 mils by 6 mils, and that's a stakeout accuracy. That's telling me that I need to go back 6 millimeters and over 6 mils. For me, that's good enough. I'm just going to adopt that for the time being. It enables me to get the peg in, and then I can adjust it once I've got that in. Another interesting thing is that this is the very first peg I've put in, so I have no real idea of the orientation of the grids. So what I'm going to do is create a reference line, 47, 46. I know that I've just put a bit of paint here where my peg's going to go, but I need to know which way to direct the peg. So I'm just going to stake out a line now, and then I'll have... Okay, so I'm using the Measure to Line app, and if you can see, we have an offset of about 7 millimeters. So if I put the paint can back where I've got to put the peg in, come over here, there's my line between the pole and the paint can. So that will enable me now to ensure that when I get this peg here and put it in the ground like this, I can have it looking directly at that pole, and then when I put my peg in, that's going to be nicely aligned as well. It's, you know, it's not out here and it's not out there, and it's, you know, not facing the wrong way. So we just want to make sure that everything looks neat, because presentation is everything. Okay, so here's a finished peg. You can see we have a nail in the top of the peg. It's called a clout. In Australia we call these clouts. I'm not sure what other people in other parts of the world call them. It's just a flathead nail. How about you leave a comment, let me know what you call them, where you come from. I have a written here, grid line A, 36 meters to grid line 1, grid line 1 being out that direction, and it's got a height of 212.36 above sea level. Not that sea level there, that's just a dam. We're talking about the sea level that surrounds Australia. It's Australian height datum, height above sea level, in meters. And I'm using a bipod, which is handy because then I can let go of the pole and just get the bubble quite good. I could have used the Leica AP20, but in this instance I haven't. It's telling me to go back 75, move that over 75 and over about 200 mils. And then straighten it up. Yeah, it is a bit longer this way. Leica have made some improvements with the AP20 auto pole, which work better with the new TS20, which I don't have at this point in time. Back 35 and over 8, back 35, over a tiny little bit, level up the pole, and as you can see now, we've got some green arrows, back 12 mils, over nothing. So I'll just move it over here just a tiny little bit, back 10 mils, 12 mils, level up the pole, and we're in the 4 mil, 2 mil range, which means I can get my peg in and then put a nail in. One interesting thing here about this Leica 360-degree prism, see these little yellow arrows there? You have to ensure, and I don't think this applies to the new 360-degree prisms, but this is a slightly older one. There's an arrow just behind just near my finger here on the other side. Just so you believe me, just there. What you've got to do is point that arrow directly to the total station, and that will ensure you get the right height. If it happens to be slightly off, you may have a height error of nearly 5 millimeters, which is a pain in the neck. But I think the new Leica 360 prisms have taken that into consideration. But just got to keep your wits about yourself and make sure you get it right. Sometimes you can stake out all these points with the GPS, because that's your line of sight. Even though there's clouds, it works beautifully. And look at this big open sky. However, I have to put marks in with a nail, and I have to be a little bit more precise, which is good, but it's also a pain in the neck. So therefore I've had to put in another traverse station. Why? Because we have a large container in the way, and my mark is just going to be just over here, and I can't see it because it's right behind the container, which is an absolute pain in the butt, but that's what we have to do. One crafty little trick you can do is put your hands over the target here.
Target lock lost. Locked the target.
That total station is quite some distance away, and that just sort of ensures that you are looking at this target. We're just got to make sure we get the right height too. Okay, last peg for the day. I've had to move the total station from behind the container there to here so I can get it, and we're going to stake this out now, see how far we are away. Let's get the total station looking at us.
Lock to target.
Because I've been reading control marks and other things, I've got to make sure I have my right target. Back to the Leica 360.
Target lock lost.
Press distance, and we are away. 12 metres back, 3 metres over. 12 metres. Turn around, face the instrument. Back 0.4, over 0.2, back 0.1. About there. That's how quick it can be. There's the last mark. I've got it now, so I move the pole. I've scratched the peg, grab the hammer, put the cloud in on the point of the scratch, hit it in. Job done. To finish each peg off, I've got a star picket. Some of the old fencing here that's just going to be thrown out. Part of the site that's being demolished. There's a bit of star pickets left over, so I'm going to salvage them. Hit a star picket in behind every peg I put in, and I've got some pink ribbon there, and doesn't it look pretty with the wind blowing? So that will do the trick and help everyone find all the pegs so they don't get knocked out by the big excavator. You can see how rusty this star picket is. Make sure you don't rust and cut your hands. And I've got my 14-pound sledgehammer here. You could use a thing in Australia, they call it a dolly. I'm not sure what they call it overseas, which is 2 handles on a big pipe, water pipe, and you bash it down. But I'll use my 14-pound hammer, and it's a good workout for your arms. Shouldn't go anywhere. Get some of my pink ribbon. Tie it through these little holes here and get it through just like that. Beautiful.
Walking the full site really shows how much goes into a project like this. Every peg, every mark, each one has to be right. Because one small mistake can change everything. From the first control point to the last peg, it all comes together. To create something precise, something lasting. Thanks for following along today. If you're curious about more surveying projects, don't forget to subscribe. See you next time.